Hello, dear friends. Today we continue our look at the diary of a German corporal. Don't forget to rate the video and leave your thoughts on this material. Well, let's get started. September 24th, 1941. Early in the morning, the field units received orders to begin clearing the city. We didn't sleep a wink all night. Explosion after explosion. In our neighborhood, not a single pane of glass remained intact in the houses. We were transferred to the suburb of Nikolskaya Borshagovka. We settled into cozy houses quite comfortably. God is my witness, we aren't spoiled for comfort. There were even chickens there, and Primus stoves, and soon the appetizing smell of roasted meat wafted everywhere above our makeshift barracks. For a few hours, we decided to forget about the damned war. However, vigilance is essential. You can't let the enemy catch you off guard. Just before midnight, another terrifying explosion followed. Plaster rained down from the ceiling and walls. In some places, the blast wave had blown the doors off their hinges. We had a lump in our throats. Dropping everything, we rushed out into the street like madmen. A giant mushroom-shaped cloud of smoke hung over the city. Apparently, something very serious had happened. We even lost our appetite. No one touched the appetizingly roasted chickens. Everyone was devastated. We eagerly awaited news of the nighttime incident. It wasn't until evening that we managed to find out anything. The command and control headquarters, housed in Kiev's largest hotel, had been blown to smithereens along with several other administrative buildings. Flames engulfed an entire city block. Several thousand residents were trapped under the rubble. Many of our own had perished, from ordinary soldiers to high-ranking officers. Someone said that a crowded soldiers' casino had also been blown up. It was horrific. For the first time in a long while, soldiers who had seen enough of the front's horrors were sitting in a hall, watching a movie, laughing as if nothing were wrong, and suddenly, an explosion. They were torn to pieces by a hellish mechanism suddenly set in motion. You couldn't make it up. September 25th. In the morning, 3 of us soldiers set off for Teremki. This operation required extreme caution. The entire area is literally riddled with mines. Even now, with the fighting behind us, our positions are far from safe. An ominous silence hung over the field of death, and a deceptive one. Tons of dynamite are buried in the ground, waiting for just one wrong step or movement to unleash fire, smoke, and death. Responsibility is a heavy burden. I should have gone alone, at my own risk, but my comrades persuaded me, and I decided to take them with me. It's still gloomy here. Traces of recent battles are still visible, but all around is silence. No whistling of shells or shrapnel. It's quiet on Puchdavaya Street, too. The machine guns are silent. Who could have imagined such a thing just a few days ago? My God, what a sight! In the Teremkovsky forest, the bodies of both our men and the enemy still lie almost side by side. They've been lying here for a month and a half now. Yes, this is what the Teremkovsky forest looks like now. Trees split by shells and shrapnel, and corpses. The embodiment of the nightmare of war. Damn it, there's no point in a soldier coming here on a tour, wandering around this blood-soaked ground, among the barbed wire barriers where scraps of uniforms still hang. Then we approach a huge pile of ruins. This is Teremki. Everything around here strongly resembles a lunar landscape, craters and nothing else. And our positions were once here. Then we approach the place where our comrades, whom we buried, rest in the ground. The ground has caved in places. It's hard to make out anything at all, It seems as though we dug a grave right here, laid them in it, piled a mound on top, and now, instead of the mound, there's a hollow filled with murky water. God, what a blessing that their families and loved ones don't have to see this whole nightmare. Yes, our positions were actually here once. Thousands of shrapnel fragments have destroyed them almost to the ground. Now one can only stand and guess where the trenches ran, where the foxholes were dug. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that you once ran around in them, slept in them, lay curled up for 2 days straight, waiting out another enemy artillery barrage. Just as hard to wrap my head around is the fact that someone was lucky enough to escape this hell alive. We drive back, silent, all lost in thought. Farewell, Teremki. Farewell, our comrades in arms. It's hard to think about this place. How could one ever forget the horrors experienced there? We approach Kyiv, burning and shrouded in giant clouds of smoke. Poor city. We spared you, perhaps even to our own detriment, and now gigantic fires rage here, your body convulsing from terrifying explosions. And it is not your children, but the children of Judas who have inflicted mortal wounds upon you, mutilating you beyond recognition. When will this terrible war finally end? So many say that I see the world only in black. No, my dears, that is not so. On the contrary, I now see everything precisely in white, the color of snow, which will yet bury very, very many of you. Hans, don't think, I beg you. Don't think. Don't dwell on anything. September 26th. For many kilometers, the city center is a raging ocean of flames. Fires are devouring the city. This morning, 2 more city districts had to be evacuated. As a result, about 20,000 people were left homeless. About half of them, having grabbed the bare essentials, are huddling in houses on nearby streets. A depressing sight. This morning, sappers were also blowing up parts of the streets. There was simply no way around it. The SS Sonderkommandos have their hands full. Round-the-clock interrogations and executions. Even those who simply seem suspicious to them are lined up against a wall right on the streets, and the bodies of the dead are left lying there. People, men, women, children, walk around and whisper, "Nothing," as in, nothing special. So what if there's a corpse lying on the sidewalk? We walk right through pools of blood. There are traces of blood everywhere on the sidewalks, both fresh and already caked. The SS Einsatzkommandos are also swamped with work. All Jews, without exception, must register by noon on the 25th. Of course, not everyone followed this order, at most half, but in any case, none of them will leave the city. Kyiv is surrounded by a tight ring of security. This will be a day of vengeance for our comrades who died from the explosions of treacherously planted mines. Today, a day later, 2,000 Jews have already been sent to heaven. We had a long conversation with a young SS soldier from the Special Unit. Their job is to liberate all the major cities we have captured of their Jewish population. They know their business perfectly. These guys are seasoned killers. I am stunned. We, the front-line soldiers, never even thought about what was happening in the cities we had captured as we moved on, continuing to pursue the retreating enemy. The front-line soldier's task is to move forward and only forward. To drive the enemy as far away as possible. An SS soldier tells me about the mass shootings in Zhytomyr. Back then we were still fucking greenhorns, the 19-year-old soldier tells me. For 2 days they dug 50-meter-long trenches, calculating 250 Jews per trench. In total, we killed 1,800 Jews in Zhytomyr, Another 5,000 had been killed earlier. Then, on the third day, the trenches were ready, and everyone, from small children to the very old, had to strip naked. The first 250 Jews were lined up at the edge of the trench, then a volley from 2 machine guns at once. After that, the next group was brought to the trench. They had to climb down and neatly stack the dead bodies side by side as tightly as possible to save space. If there were gaps between the bodies, they were filled with the bodies of children. In short, there was no time to waste. There were supposed to be 1,500 people, and everyone had to fit into the ditch. Then, more machine gun fire, and if anyone was still moaning, they were finished off. Then it was the next group's turn, and it went on like that until evening. There wasn't enough time for all of them, after all. There are so many Jews in this country. At first, I couldn't say a word. This young man was talking about it all as if it were an ordinary pheasant hunt. I couldn't believe it, so I told him so. Smiling, he suggested we go and see for ourselves. We hopped on our bikes and rode to the outskirts of town, to a steep ravine. I'll try to be brief. A strange chill ran through my stomach. What I saw was horrific, and I will never forget that gruesome scene for the rest of my life. Jews were standing at the edge of that ravine, and soldiers lying behind machine guns were mowing them down. The bodies of the dead fell over the edge of the ravine, 50 meters down. Everyone standing at the edge was wiped out completely. When the number of dead exceeded 1,000, they blew up the edge of the ravine, and the pile of dead bodies below was buried under the earth. That was a pretty clever idea with the explosion. My companion smiled in a completely boyish way. My God, my God. Without saying a word, I turned and walked quickly, almost running toward the city. This soldier is 19 years old. After all, such events leave their mark not only on a uniform, but also on the soul. What will become of him when he returns home? To his mother and fiancé? That's all for today. If you liked the video, please support it with a like and subscribe to the channel. Bye for now, everyone. See you next time.